Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Monday. It's July 17th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and another weak range kind of day. We traded up for most of the day, as you can see here. There is a channel inside this range, but these channels get really unpredictable. I'll be honest. I think you were better off playing the range. Um, with your trades coming off the highs or the lows, and really you only got that. This is where you got to be really careful in the middle. I got two trades marked here in the middle, um, and the only reason I marked them is because this was a confirmed trading range and it was playing out. So when you got this long right here off this midline right here, you would assume that we were coming back here and probably going to try to make a new high, but there's enough room to scalp out before we get back to the high. So I did mark those two, but I'll be honest, you got to be really careful when you trade the middle of a range because it'll bounce here a few times and then sometimes it looks like it's going to bounce like right here and then it goes lower. You didn't really get a good setup to the long side like you did on these other two, but all the same, that's what will happen to you sometimes. So it's less reliable entering off the midline of a trading range. You mostly have to go long off the highs and short off the lows. And somebody sent me something and said that they had a 5 point breakout on their range. So I don't know if they're trading something different. They never did answer me back, but there's no 5 point breakout today. This person was saying, could I go long on a 5 point breakout? Well, uh, just to clarify, even though we mostly only want to go short off the highs and long off the lows of a trading range, if you get a confirmed trend going higher out of this range, you got to trade that. But you need a confirmed trend, and you got that right here. And as you can see, there's two longs, and then we made a new high, and then we were back in the range, and we closed inside the range. So this is really a range day, but there is a trend working up in this range, and it did play out. It was a failed break higher like you would expect and gave you a chance to get short. You might have considered going short up here. You're almost always better off to wait on a lower high. I'll mark this one as a green one, but I'm not crazy about it because sometimes you'll get that next leg up or it'll push up just high enough to trap you out or stop you out and then it goes exactly where you thought it was going to go. So you got to be careful with those. Generally, you want to wait on a lower high. So, but let's go ahead and talk about the trades, and we'll wrap today up. It won't take long. It's just a really weak trading range, a little bit of a weak up trend. It's in the big picture is just a trading range. So when I came in, we were bouncing off the lows. We made this overnight low and moved up to the high, and we tested this high right here. This was a little bit early, or you could have considered entering here. Um, you probably really wanted to wait on a lower high with all the. This is a congestion here, and you got two sure dojis in there, so you really need to wait on a lower high, which comes right here, but it's right into that. By the time this closed, it's right into a double bottom. It did go higher first and turn and come out the lower side, so that's tempting, but with that low being right there, this is the main one you got to worry about, to be honest. So you might have taken that one, but with that trend line working there and that being right off of it, it may, and this going higher and then turning down. It's not a failed second entry long, it's just a lower high. So it does look like a reversal pattern. So you might have considered that one. It would have worked. You would have had to ride back a little bit of a pull back here. I'll mark that one green, but I wasn't crazy about it either. And it would have, like I said, it would have worked. So we'll mark it, but I'm going to leave it green just because I think you were better off waiting on the lower high. The lower high comes right here, but when this didn't go any further and bounced, now you got to be really concerned. So even though that's a failed second entry long, I'm not even going to mark that one um, because we made two higher. We made a low, then a higher low, and this one would have. I believe this one would have worked as well. I think it may have been I think you would have got your 4 ticks. But anyway, I don't like it just simply because we did get a close outside and we've got all this sideways stuff right here. And when it breaks lower and fails, and you really got a double bottom with this. I don't even like this bar. This is really your signal bar, but this inside bar is so bullish, and it opens and closes right on those lows. So for that reason, I like this one. It's a very big bar though. So, and it did shoot up real fast. And what all it was all these shorts had to exit. This is this early morning reversal. It looks like it's a long trap, and it turns out to be a short trap. Um, and it reverses. I couldn't get in this trade. I don't know if yours might have set up a little bit differently, but if you could get in that trade, I like it. Again, you're better off to wait on uh, the reversal pattern, which comes right here. And then only if you have enough room to get out. There's not enough room on my chart to get out before that double top, so I marked it green. But it would have worked even on my chart, but it had to break that one tick higher, and you don't know that it's going to do that. So I didn't like that one. Um, I didn't want to make that one blue. And it does come back. You could really treat this as a failed break higher above all this. But again, you're better off to wait on that lower high. Notice you do get a close outside of this trend line, and that's 2 legs up. But it's just not a very good setup. And it does end up failing and bouncing. And notice that low, and so that's a 1. That's a double test of that. So I like, and that's such a bullish bar. It's almost a repeat pattern. It's almost a perfect repeat pattern of this. So for that reason, I liked it, and that would have been a nice trade. It moves to a new high, and as you expect, when you get that breakout, it almost always fails. You get a little lower high here, so you might have even considered entering here, but I usually like to, since it didn't go through the EMA, I'd like to see that little failed second entry long, and there it comes, and look how bearish that bar is. I like entering there. I really thought we'd go the other side. It didn't, but it didn't matter. We still got an easy scalp out of that. And when it bounced here, I would have exited. And then again, you looked for, you know, you look for a higher low, which comes here, but it's right back into the highs, the original highs. There is a little bit of room between here and there, but not enough. So you really need that trap and that reversal pattern. So when it turns down again here, you get a nice bullish bar. You still don't quite have room to get out, so that's why I made it green. There's too big a chance that it breaks through here and does just like it tries to do and turn down, but then it turns higher again. So this is like a little breakout pullback, and and you definitely don't want to enter right into the high here. So once this one didn't take off, I wouldn't add on here, and I wouldn't enter here either. I'd probably hang on to this one, but I wouldn't add on, or I wouldn't start a new trade here. As you see, you would have just got burned. And really, you should have moved this up by this point to right there. But you can see down here where we were originally. That was off the overnight high right there. You can see the overnight high. And if you measure that and drag it up, that's right where it takes you to. And so that's how I got that spot for the line. You can see it coming. That was the overnight high anyway, so that was fairly easy to find. And you see we turned down a couple of different times here. We really had a double test here, but it never triggered to the downside. So, which is a good thing it didn't, because it ended up going higher. But yeah, only a few trades today. Personally, I like these kind of days. Today wasn't one of my favorite ones, because there were only really 3 easy trades off the highs and lows. There's a couple in the middle here, but like I said, these are the ones that you got to be really careful with, that tend to fool you and trap you. So you got to be careful with those. The only reason I like those today is this trend channel working up here. And even though we had it confirmed right here, I wasn't really that confident in it. But when it turned right here again in the middle of, once you broke through here, you'd think we'd go lower. But when it turned off that line again, and then you closed again here, actually when it turned off of it again right here and gave you that repeat pattern, I felt pretty confident taking that one. I was really hoping that we might end up with a trend today, but even though we had one, it just wasn't a very strong one. This is more of a range day. You're better off playing this range. And so after you got the break here and the new high, then you had to be careful about doing anything in the middle here. And that's really why this one is green, because it is a failed second entry long, but it's right into that midline. And it did push through twice and pull back, and that gives you that trap you need to push on through. So that, and you might have even considered adding on again right here or entering right here if it hadn't been after 2 o'clock, because that really is your breakout pullback that tells you, hey, we're probably going to head lower. But I'll be honest with you, once this trend was done and over with, I'd just probably stay clear of this midline stuff, and you only want to go short off the highs and long off the lows. And like I said, I like these kind of days. I really do. They're so predictable. Today was there just weren't a lot of entries because we didn't get but a few off the top, and we didn't get hardly any off the low after the regular open. So it made it a little bit more difficult. But well, I wouldn't say it made it more difficult. It just there weren't a lot of trades is really the key there. So not much else we can say about today. I'm going to wrap it up. I did want to read an email I got from somebody today. I won't say their name. I generally don't call people's name, but just real quick. I know like people like to hear about other success stories. So this guy just sent me just a couple of real quick lines. Hope you're having a good day. This is what I had. This was actually from last week that I didn't get a chance to read it. So this is what I had by midday. 4 for 4 by noon and done for the day. Thanks for all the information you put out there. Feel like I'm really improving. So, and he sent me a couple of emails like that. So, um, I haven't read any in a while. I put them aside and say I'm going to read them, and I never get around to it, and then they get old. And like I said, this one is from one day last week. But I know a lot of you asked, is anybody able to do this? Is anybody else having success? And so when I get these, I'll try to read them. And if you are having success, because generally you only hear from the people that don't have success. When people have a lot of success, they don't generally write to you. They're busy trading and they're busy, they're enjoying what they're doing and they're making money, and you don't hear a whole lot from them. So when I do get some positive emails like this from people, I tend to like to read them. So, and here's one more that I've had. This one is at least a few weeks old, and it's actually fairly involved. He actually sent me copies of his trading uh, his trading account here. Not actually his account, but his account statements. He sent me copies of his account statements, which not many people will do that. But I guess he didn't figure I would believe him. But he says, Mac, I know my progression has been really fast, and you don't know me that well. So I attached screenshots of my account statements and today's dime. On Tuesday, I made $1,400. On Wednesdays, I made $1,230, and on Thursday, I made $1,290. I've been in a slump for months and mainly losing money. Your materials and teachings clicked immediately. It was like missing pieces of a jigsaw puzzle snapped in place. You have been a blessing. And he puts his name down there. So anyway, that's really good for somebody that had not been doing this very long. There's actually another email. Let me just see how quickly. I think that was from. Oh, this one was from the week prior to that. Um, the week prior to that, he had sent me another email. I had an exceptional day today. Admittedly, the market was easy. I made $1,400 before commissions trading oil using 1 to 3 contracts. Had one loss for $50. I knew I was wrong and exited. It was my best day in 5 months. My proudest moment came when I did not take a great low sell signal. It looked like a trap. I remembered you said you have seen prices trap low, come back up and trap high, then reverse back down for the sell. I put my sell entry instead at the perfect trap high location. It was where I would normally be stopped out. It worked like a charm. Still have a long ways to go before I'm a good trader. Today was a good day. So this gentleman's having a lot of success. And like I said, I know it's not smoke and mirrors because I'm looking at copies of his account statements, and he's telling the truth here. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I hadn't shared any positive stuff lately. And I'll try to share more of that. And if you want to send it to me and share it with a group, I generally don't call names or anything like that. So anything you send me is confidential. But if you want to share your success stories, I like sharing them with a group because it gives people encouragement and it helps people know that yes, this can be done. And plus, I always like seeing them just for my own benefit, just so I know that hey, there are people out there having success. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.